round of applause for making it to and through another day, because as we know, each day is a blessing, so always begin by giving thanks. I am so happy to be with you again for this latest broadcast. If you would be so kind, please make sure that you drop a like, perhaps hype, comment, and share. Your engagement is extremely appreciated. You are extremely appreciated, and I enjoy receiving and reading your comments. Let me remind you of the Fair Use Act that says copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976 allows mad for fair use, see for purpose such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is the use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational or personal use tips, the balance in favor of fair use. You know I understand, oh I understand how passionate some may be. I only ask that you respect this platform, the moderators, the chat, and me. Oftentimes the subject matter will require a viewer disclaimer. And as always, I implore you to do your own research. That being said, relax and enjoy the show. My name is Lisa, and it's good to be with you again. Blessings, let's go. Let's go.
Greetings and welcome back to my channel for another video. As always, give yourselves a round of applause for making it to and through another day. As I mentioned in my previous video, the updates on the Ashley Janae case. There was a case that I wanted to speak about that occurred in Baltimore, Maryland, and this is it. It is the case of 27-year-old Branson Oduor, who went missing over a week again, and despite the fears and in contrast, hopes that he would be found alive, did not come to fruition. And here are the dates, and I'm going to go into a little bit more of this story. Again, happy Wednesday to one and all. Perhaps it is Tuesday, depending upon where you are on the globe. I'm your hostess, Lise, and welcome.
A family and community in Baltimore, Maryland is mourning the loss of Branson Oduor, a 27-year-old man who went missing in early April 2026 after a night out in Baltimore's Fells Point neighborhood. He was last seen on surveillance footage in the 1600 block of Thames Street around 2 a.m. on Saturday, April 4th, after leaving the Horseshoe Came In on saloon. This saloon was mentioned along with Edgar Allan Poe, and some mentioned the venue was eerie. His girlfriend, mother-in-law, and a host others searched frantically, while many on social media feared he may have fallen into the harbor. Tragically, after a search involving local police and community members, his body was recovered from the Inner Harbor on Tuesday, April 14, 2026. According to reports, surveillance footage captured him stumbling along the 1600 block of Thames Street at approximately 2:15 a.m. Later footage showed him in the Harbour East area around 4 a.m., where he was seen struggling to ride his electric bicycle. His remains were located in the water in the 500 block of East Pratt Street. The Baltimore Police Department confirmed the body was Oduor's on April 14th. An autopsy was ordered to determine the exact cause of his passing. Oduor, who worked as an accountant, had recently started a new job and was described by loved ones as a genuinely good person. Many are heartbroken and asking why. Our heartfelt condolences to his family and loved ones.
Now, this story is like many others as it relates to people having too much to drink, and there were comments in many of these stories that the onus may be in the future, and who knows as it relates to politics, about bartenders who know that the patrons may have had a bit too much adult beverages consumed. Now, I'm going to show in a moment footage, but there's several clips of footage that completely shows an image that bears the likeness of Branson Oduor, a 27-year-old Kenyan who again was unfortunately found on Tuesday in the Baltimore Harbor. Friends and family say that, as I mentioned, he was at the Horseshoe Cayman saloon. And here's a little bit of information about that particular saloon. Now, it is rumored, again, unconfirmed reports, that that particular building, the saloon, was one of Edgar Allan Poe's favorite, I'll just say, watering spots, and claims, keep in mind, claims to be the last place he took his last swig, as my mom would say, before he was found wandering in the streets and was taken to the Washington Medical College and passed away 4 days later. There are also unconfirmed claims that there's even a seat marked Poe's Last Stop. And then we have a little bit more background on the saloon. The horse you came in on, saloon. Locals just say the horse. Since the 1970s, the inside has been modernized, but the building's exterior remains original. The building has been a continuously operating bar since 1775. Again, 1775, making it the oldest in Baltimore and the only bar in Maryland that continued operating during the Prohibition. So there is some history there, ladies and gentlemen. Here is a photo of Branson Oduor. May you rest in peace, young man. And I am so sorry this happened to you. Now, I'm going to show just a quick clip of video. Now, you can find more footage, but I'm just going to ask a couple of questions. I understand as young people, you go out, you hang out with your friends, and sometimes you consume beverages or other things that you may feel as though you can handle. But because I am an elder, pretty close to it, older, a little bit wise with my years, and seeing what I've seen, experiencing what I've experienced, I do not encourage, again, it's my opinion, encourage if you're going to be out late to try to make it home alone, especially that time of night, that time of morning, and when it relates to friends. Again, this is my opinion, and I'm speaking as it relates to my age group and perhaps some younger. With all of the news that we've heard and continue to hear about going out with your friends, and your friends end up at their homes or their destinations safe, and others never make it home. We must be careful when we use the label friends and associates, because If it were me, and this is just me, I would not allow a friend, someone I cared about, and whose safety would be a priority, especially if I knew the condition they were in or suspected the condition they may have been in, to be left alone, especially near a body of water such as the Inner Harbor. I am not going to be sinister because, in the grand scheme of things, only the Creator truly knows what happens. My condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones. I don't believe foul play is suspected, and I don't know if the autopsy reports have returned yet. But there was a plea from many on social media to check the harbor, to check the harbor. And there were claims that a portion of Fells Point was searched, but nothing was found until almost a week later. Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely, absolutely, and this is coming from a 57-year-old with health challenges, enjoy your life. But remember the choices you make and those with whom you associate are very, very important, because it could mean the difference between life and your transition. Your thoughts and opinions on this case of Branson Oduor, and I call it a case because even though it looks on the lens as a tragic accident, someone that went out having a good time and had too much and was found perhaps by accident, and yes, I did say perhaps, in the water. And here we are today. Those that we saw in the video, were they acquaintances? Where did they go? And I'm sure if there is an investigation, I would request one, and that's just me. Especially if this is something that seems out of the ordinary. His girlfriend, Emily, stated that it wasn't like him. And she, along with his mother-in-law and others, they did search. But unfortunately, tragedy has struck Maryland once again.